Mercedes has made its decision on who will be Lewis Hamilton's teammate next year, but it's not yet telling us who it's chosen. The growing expectation is that George Russell will get the nod to replace Valtteri Bottas, and regardless of who it is, the decision was taken before Russell stuck his Williams on the front row for the Belgian Grand Prix, which then turned into the first podium of his F1 career after the non-race that took place on Sunday. So if the decision has been taken, why hasn't Mercedes announced it? We'll get into everything we know about this story from the Spa weekend and the reasons for that delay, because they offer some pretty strong hints about what the decision is. Mercedes told us it was likely to decide between Russell and Bottas over the summer break, yet everyone arrived at Spa last week with no official news being made public. The two drivers then had to share a slot in the official pre-event press conference on Thursday, where they both navigated the questions coyly, sticking to the line that there was no news to share. Asked if that was a surprise given the previous indication it would be settled over the summer, Bottas answered, "Not really, who knows, maybe I know something, maybe I don't, but there's no news to share." And when we asked if the lack of news was because a decision had not been made or because they were simply not revealing the information, Bottas felt no need to elaborate. He said, "There's no news to share. I don't need to clarify any reasons for that. It's the same for me and George that we have a job to do here and there's no news. We're going to focus on racing and getting maximum points for the teams we are racing at." Russell indicated there would not be an announcement until the Italian Grand Prix, which is just over a week away now. He said, "Obviously we were in discussions over the summer break, but there's nothing to announce one way or another this weekend and probably not next weekend either, to be honest, which is no problem. Do things right rather than quickly." Mercedes boss Toto Wolff did his best to dodge questions about the decision early in the weekend, but he eventually relented when he was asked directly if the decision had been made and it simply wasn't revealed, to which he said yes. The decision being taken before Spa meant that Russell's astonishing results over the Belgian Grand Prix weekend won't influence what Mercedes does. Wolff said given how closely Mercedes has monitored the British driver's development before and since he joined the F1 grid, the notion of it needing to see a major upset from him in a Williams to make its mind up made no sense. Wolff said, "We know what we have with George. He's been outstanding in the junior categories, he's been outstanding at Williams, he's been outstanding when he was with us in Bahrain. If I needed to have that ultimate proof, then something would have been wrong." Wolff said there are other factors behind Mercedes' decision not to announce who's got the drive yet. He said we need to manage the situation well with whichever driver is not going to be in a Mercedes next year and make sure that there is an exciting programme, adding that both drivers need to be looked after because they are part of the Mercedes family and are held in high regard. Adding those clues to speculation that Bottas will drive for Alfa Romeo next year, the announcement could be delayed until the Italian Grand Prix so it can be revealed at Alfa's home race. Bottas does have a link to Alfa Romeo of sorts, having raced for team boss Frédéric Vasseur's ART team for 3 years, spending 2 seasons in F3 before winning the GP3 title on the F1 support bill in 2011. As for Russell's current team Williams, there's an acceptance that after 3 years helping him settle into F1, it's time for him to fly the nest and move on to better things. Team boss Jost Capito said after Russell's brilliant Belgian Grand Prix qualifying that if Mercedes' mind wasn't made up, then what happened at Spa should push Russell even more towards the seat alongside Hamilton. He also said everyone at Williams would be happy to see their star driver move into a car capable of winning world championships. If Russell is only a week or 2 away from being announced as a Mercedes driver for 2022, then a front row qualifying performance and giving Williams its first podium finish since Baku 2017 was the ideal parting gift to the team. It also doubled Williams' points tally for the season, which combined with the team's strong haul from the mixed-up Hungarian Grand Prix should cement it in 8th place in the championship. That will end a streak of 3 consecutive seasons of one of F1's most famous and decorated teams finishing bottom of the pile, which will give Williams a useful financial boost when the F1 prize money for this year is handed out. Russell found more support for him landing a Mercedes drive in the form of Red Bull's Max Verstappen and Ferrari's Charles Leclerc. All three drivers are 23, but while Verstappen and Leclerc were quickly promoted into front-running teams and became race winners, Russell has had to be more patient. When we asked Verstappen if Russell had earned a chance at Mercedes and whether it was important for F1 to have a driver of his calibre in a top seat, Verstappen replied, "George is very quick and he can't stay where he is forever. I think he deserves more. I rate him very high as a driver. He's still very young as well, so it's natural that the younger guys at one point move up, especially the good drivers." Leclerc shared a similar sentiment. His and Russell's careers have had quite a lot of parallels up to the point Leclerc's F1 trajectory spiked and Russell's plateaued. Both were karting stars who had eye-catching rookie seasons in cars, went on to enjoy race-winning Formula 3 campaigns, and then clinch back-to-back titles in GP3 and Formula 2, before making the step up to F1 with back-of-the-grid teams. The difference is that Leclerc only spent 1 year at Sauber before being catapulted into Ferrari, and even in his rookie season, Sauber's competitiveness increased considerably over the course of the year. But that means Leclerc knows what it's like to get into F1 on the bottom rung of the ladder and then climb it, and he reckons Russell's earned the same shot. The closest thing Wolff gave to a hint over the weekend about Mercedes' thinking was an acknowledgement that with Verstappen at Red Bull, Leclerc at Ferrari and Lando Norris at McLaren, Mercedes risks being the odd one out if it doesn't have a star of the future in its lineup. He said, "A generation will change and every other of the top teams has one of those highly promising kids, so there is definitely an argument that we also need to look to the future." Hamilton has tried to keep his distance from the speculation about his 2022 teammate out of respect for Bottas, given the good relationship they've developed since the Finn replaced Nico Rosberg at short notice in 2017. But Wolff said Hamilton has been involved in the discussions over the team's driver lineup and that the world champion has had to take the driver cap off to consider what's best from the team's perspective rather than just his own position. Wolff also said he and Hamilton have the same opinion on what the team should do. Hamilton said at Spa he wants what's best for the team, and while he has had conversations with Wolff, it's not his decision. And while he spoke of his loyalty to Bottas, he said it's no problem whichever way Mercedes goes with the seat alongside him in the garage for next year. Remember to let us know what you think Mercedes will do or what you think it should do in the comments, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And if you're not yet subscribed to our channel and want to keep up with everything going on in Formula 1, then feel free to hit that button while you're here so we can see you again next time.